I extend a warm welcome to the community of Tuesdays for Tomorrow, a community of educators, visionaries, and lifelong learners. We also welcome our guest speaker, Mr. Ninad Panse, CEO, Design Derivatives, who works closely with children in the area of creativity and design thinking, focusing majorly on the principles of divergent thinking. I wish to express my heartfelt gratitude to the core members of T40, Vijayamji, Arun Malti ma'am, and Jyoti Kumta for providing this forum to all of us to learn from each other, collaborate, reflect, and contribute towards building better schools and hence a better world. Now it is our responsibility to see that more schools and educators join this community and spread the message of sharing and caring. It's a great honor and privilege for all of us to share some of our project ideas with you today. Once again, I thank each one of you for your time. Now, I request Meenal Keskar to take forward the proceedings of the day.
Thank you, ma'am. A very good evening to one and all present here. It's a great privilege for me to be presenting today's program. But before we begin with the actual presentations, let's invoke the blessings of Almighty with the prayer Shubham Karutvam.
शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योते नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योते नमोऽस्तु ते
शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा
दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापं सन्ध्यादीपो नमोऽस्तु ते
शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा
ओ दीपब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः ओ दीपब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः आरोग्यं देहि पुत्राक्ष प्रतिस्वच्छां हि मे सदा
शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योते नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योते नमोऽस्तु ते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा.
This melodious rendition was sung by our music teacher, Mrs. Gauri Bapat, and our students. Now, before we proceed, let's have a look at today's agenda. Today, KHS Baner will be sharing with you project-based learning as we interpret it. As you all are aware, a school year is dotted with events, activities, and projects, to name a few. A few projects that we were involved include the NASA Space Settlement Project, Fistful of Grains, CAL Project, Jagat by UNICEF, etc. We will be presenting two projects, One, a small group project, and the other one, a school-wide project. Both these projects will be presented by our students. The first project that we shall be showcasing is the one that our students presented to the La Foundation, the Salt Systems. Our students were a part of a year-long program where they were groomed as future innovators and future entrepreneurs. They had to come up with a prototype of a useful product which would have components printed using a 3D printer. Let's hear about this dream project Standax from none other than our students who are the proud recipients of the second runners-up prize in the SEED, the Future Entrepreneurs Program. So over to Adviya.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Today, we'll be talking about our dream product, which helped us back the second runner-up trophy in the Future Entrepreneur Program by the Salt Systems. So let us start by imagining something. We all have seen people stand for long hours in long queues, and even we've experienced it. Common that there is no place to sit. And now this is a very big problem for many people. So the team A&D came up with this product called as Standards. So before knowing more about it, let us have a look at our journeys video.
Dr. Kalmadi Shangrao High School, Baner, in association with La Foundation The Salt Systems, is proud to present our product Standax for the SEED, the Future Entrepreneurs Program. The objective of participating in this program is to turn passion into expertise. It helps anyone with a knack for engineering, science, and digital technology to create an improved and more advanced society. We received invaluable guidance from our principal, Mrs. Lakshmi Gandhi, and our teachers, Mrs. Ambika Prabhu and Mrs. Gayatri Deshpande. Our team consisted of 6 of our best and brightest. Leading the pack, team leader Adviya Deshpande, accompanied by Tanush Joshi, Adi Lingoswar, Arohi Kate, Amay Joshi, and Apurva Lange. The project could not have gone much further had we not had Team Dassault's expert guidance and technical support. The team at Dassault, that is Mr. Prashant Dubey, Mr. Shri Harsha, Mr. Shashank Patkar, Mr. Sanjay Inamdar, and Mr. Ninad Panse, held numerous workshops for our benefit. We are eternally grateful to our mentor, Mr. Hemant Gadgil, Ms. Krishna Pillai, Mr. Anurag Shukla, Mr. Sagar Sutar, and our school champion, Ms. Manisha Amte, for their constant backing. Thus, we began our search to find the perfect concept that would make an impact in today's world. We were open to anything and everything and played with the concepts of an auto pet feeder, an electricity generating leaf, an auto plant hydrator, a smart pillow, a thermoelectric generator, a smart belt for the visually impaired, a cooling cap, and responsive headsets. From the very beginning, this project proved to be challenging, especially because of the wide range of potential products we had envisioned. Some products were more focused on software and did not highlight the main component of 3D printing. When the 3D printer was installed in the school and the team got to understand it, it became the most coveted gadget instantly. It was a boost of confidence. We wished to learn, explore, and use it thoroughly. We wanted to master the science behind it. Not being able to use it to its fullest capacity wasn't an option. Many of our initial concepts included electrical components, which gave rise to the problem of the product not working efficiently due to probable lack of electrical supply. Unavailability of material on time was yet another restricting factor. Not to mention, in today's competitive market, some products already exist. However, hard roads require a will of steel, and the team did not back down as they continued to strive for success. We finally narrowed it down to our dream project, Standax. Our mission and long-term vision for the product was clear. We wanted to build a product that was multi-purpose, portable, space-saving, cost-effective, and one with no age bar. We wished to counter the prevailing struggles caused by standing for prolonged hours without support. Standax helps achieve a neutral and healthy spine, which results in no headaches, a relaxed shoulder and neck. Its 3-point pressure saves effort for core muscles and unloads the pressure on lower limbs. The 3-point pressure helps by flexing the knees, hips, and feet, along with abdomen support and tibia support. The first step in designing the product involved preparing the stainless steel. Once purchased, it was bent hydraulically, after which holes were drilled on it to place the knobs. Buffing it to get a mirror finish was essential, and then attaching all the different components on it. Following this process, a footrest was chosen for Standax. With the use of our trusty 3D printer, we made the backrest, hand grips, pipe caps, knee rest, and a bottle holder. After designing the trolley, it was manufactured using a laser cutting machine. To complete it, the 3 types of knobs and pipe lockers were procured. And voila! Our dream project, Standax, was assembled and functional. While our product speaks for its efficiency, we decided to go one step further. Committed to making a commercially viable product, we met with advertisement guru Sameer Belwarkar. This experience helped us develop a logo as well as a flyer for commercial use. During the course of March 2020 up to March 2021, despite facing a global pandemic and the obstacles caused by it, our team's unwavering determination was the key factor in being able to complete this product. No matter what profession or where we are from, there's always one thread which ties us all together: the aim to lead a healthy life. Standax is here to help everyone and make their lives better.
To help you relax and cut some slack, grab a Standax and support your back. Standing in a queue, how tired are you? Lean on Standax and you will get through. Standing all day long, pain in legs and back, relax with Standax while having some snacks.
Do you know that about 15% of our population are senior citizens? About 90% of them suffer from ailments related to body ache that can be like rheumatism, arthritis, joint pain, spinal injuries, etc. You name it, they have it. Isn't it sad? In modern times, queuing is a necessary evil in the places like banks, airports, shops, malls, etc. And this is very unpleasant.
Voila! Here is the solution. The A&T group of a school have prepared a grossly 3D printed apparatus called Standax, the panacea of all problems related to body ache.
How does it help?
It provides 3 degrees of support to the back, to the knees and the feet.
Let's see how.
Standax is an assistive device for people who need to go through long, excruciating hours of standing. It keeps them in a fine standing position and joyful mental state.
Other features are, all the parts of the Standax can be folded in a snap. It can be easily ported. It has a trolley that can carry more than 10 kgs at a time. It has a bottle holder to quench your thirst readily.
The 15% of our aging population deserves 100% of our support.
I have a question. Can my teachers use this too?
They do stand for a very long time and we owe them one.
Can I buy it for my Dadaji?
Of course you can. It's meant for them.
Wow! I think I should gift one to my society watchman uncle.
Of course you can. Our Standax is meant for anyone and everyone.
Thank you so much for your time.
So the name of our company is A&T, which basically comes from the initial of my teammates, that is Adi, Ameya, Arohi, Apurva, Tanush, and myself, Adviya. Our product name is Standax, which comes from 2 words, stand and relax. That is, you can relax while standing. How is this possible? So in the next part, Apurva will talk more about the functioning of this product.
Hello all, I'm Apurva Landge and I'll be sharing different parts of the product with you. So to start with, let us look at the backbone of our product, which is this S-shaped stand that you can see here. Now this stand, it is made out of stainless steel. Also, we stated that our product is height adjustable. So the height adjusting happens over here, here and here. Now let us take a look at the 3D printed components of our product. The grips, the seat, the bottle holder, the knee rest, and the pipe caps are 3D printed. We also provide cushioning to the knee rest to give you more comfort while using this product. Now here is the footrest, which is made out of wood. The seat, the knee rest, and the footrest are aligned in such a manner so that when you lean on the product, your body weight is distributed equally to all these three parts. Also, we provide you with an additional feature, which is this trolley. This trolley is made out of stainless steel as well. It is made by laser printing method. We have printed our name Standax on the sides of this trolley. We provide rotors below the trolley for a much smoother movement. Now I'd like to demonstrate and show how to use this product. So basically, you just stand on the footrest and let your knees rest comfortably on the knee rest. Now this is as easy as it looks and very comfortable. Now I'd like to show how to access this trolley. The upper part that you can see, I'll move it a bit forward. Here we provide you with a lock. This is how the lock looks, if you can see it. And now I will put the footrest in the trolley and place the lock back where it was. So this is how the trolley looks and it is very smooth. Now we also said that our product is very compact and foldable. So I'd like to show how to fold the product. Here is a knob and I'll twist the knob to my right side. And I'll gently fold this product downwards. And again twist the knob to my left. So this is how the product looks once it's folded. As you can see, it is very compact and also easily foldable. So that was it for the product. Now we designed this product in X design. And I would like Adviya to talk more about it. Over to you, Adviya.
First of all, I'd like to thank the La Foundation Dassault Systems team and our school for providing a tremendous amount of support, further helping us learn more about this 3D printing. The tutorials provided by the organizers were very helpful for us to provide to our many bugs while the development process. We've created many parts of our product like the seat, the knee rest, the footrest, etc. in the XDesign software. So this is all about the functioning and designing of this product. So in the next part, Adi will talk more about our website, which is the main medium of advertisement for us.
Hi everyone, my name is Adi Lingojwar. ANT has made a website to give our customers a 360-degree view on Standax. If you want to buy Standax, the website is a great guide to start. It contains a 3D model of Standax, all of its features, and a few testimonial videos. Lastly, we have made a feedback page where you can submit your opinion about Standax. And below it, we have links to all of our social accounts: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Messenger, and of course our Gmail, standax@gmail.com. Within a few days, our posts have gotten a lot of attention. So it would help us a lot if you provide us with your valuable feedback. So now I request Arohi to take the mic.
Thank you, Adi. Hello everyone, my name is Arohi. And today, let's get to know about the logo of our product a bit more. As you can see, our logo is in the shape of an easel stand. It is this way because the function of an easel stand and that of Standax is practically the same, that is, providing support. Also, if you look closely enough, you will see that the main shape is in the letter A and the letter T, which are the initials of our team members. We come to the most important part of our presentation, the product pricing. The manufacturing cost of this prototype went up to around 4,500. This was including all the logistics. However, in our future versions, We plan to reduce the cost to around 2,500. So, how do we plan on doing this? All the 3D printed parts of Standax will be replaced by injection moldings, which will reduce the cost by a significant amount. Speaking of future plans, let me tell you a bit more about what Standax 2.0 has in store for everyone. We plan to mass produce this product and keep it in all the places where people have to stand in long queues for long hours. For example, in bus stands, ATM queues, bank queues, train stations, basically anywhere and everywhere. Also, there is going to be a great GPS system installed, which will be connected through an app to each and every Standax. That way, people individually won't have to buy the product and they can just rent it instead. So, watch out for Standax 2.0. Now, I'd like Tanush to talk about our jingles.
Tanush, please check your audio.
Yeah. Tanush, you're muted.
No, you are not audible still.
Can we have Amaya before him?
Yeah.
Amaya, speak up.
Ma'am, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So, hi everyone, I am Tanush Doshi. I got inspired by the design of our product, which made our product multi-purpose and made me think of rhyming words to write the jingles with, which you all have heard in the video. With our Standax 2.2 coming up, I'll be sure to write some new jingles for our product. Now, my friend Ameya will talk about the takeaways that he got from our project.
Good afternoon all, I'm Amir Joshi. Before Dassault gave me the opportunity, I had neither seen nor used a 3D printer. Since it was my very first time, it was an exciting and interesting experience. I even got the chance to help my teachers. Thank you so much for this irreplaceable memory. And now I request our mentor Ambika ma'am to share her takeaway.
Good evening, everyone. This project was an experiential learning project in all its entities. Every aspect of manufacturing, be it from inception to marketing, was taught to the children. They came to know about all this pricing, product pricing, and all that, which is difficult for children of this age to come to know about. The students showed the seeds of entrepreneurship was budding inside them. The program helped in engaging the reluctant learner because it had the wow factor, the 3D printing. And it also helped in creating responsible digital citizens. Everything was hands-on. It built a camaraderie between all the schools that were involved. There were 10 schools. And it helped in solving real-world problems, which is a value which we all need to add to our education system. And towards the end of it, I felt sorry for the children who could not join this because this is a small group project, so they did not get the opportunity. I wish the entire school was involved in it. So on that note, I request Karishma Sharma, Standard 10 student, to take over.
Thank you. Thank you, Ambika ma'am. Very, very good afternoon to everyone here. We would like to present a bird's eye view of what an academic year at KHS Baner looks like. This whole year prepares us for what awaits in the real world. The entire school-wide project is like a simulation of the world outside. We hope you understand our journey of the past 5 years through this video.
So Karishma is talking about our second project, the school-wide project.
The education system we're a part of is undoubtedly one of the toughest in the world. Fiercely competitive by nature, we are always striving to stay one step ahead, often focusing only on academics. without realizing that we are diverting our focus from an open-minded, wholesome, and creative learning experience by merely being a part of the scramble towards pure academic achievement. So how does the year-long project make KHS Baner different? It is our vision to be a joyful learning community nurturing creativity for a sustainable future. We are success-driven because of our people and their commitment to build a better society. We at KHS Baner believe in going the extra mile by aiming for an integrated learning experience by combining academic learning with life lessons. To achieve this, we conduct two parallel curriculums, a syllabus for examination purposes and another for educational purposes. KHS Baner performs innumerable activities throughout this year-long project with the goal of cohesive learning for children to gain knowledge and clarity. We strive to make an impact in our students' lives in an effective manner that motivates them to continue practicing these lessons for life. Whether the hurdle is big or small, we build the foundation for them to solve these hurdles as future leaders. Every academic year, we analyze a new issue that may have adverse effects on our current and future needs as world citizens. Therefore, as an educational institute, we combine lessons, activities, and resources that encourage student leadership, sustainability literacy, and real-world action. First step in our process begins before the academic year. We have a collective discussion with our teachers based on their observations on a vast variety of concepts ranging from ethical values, culture, heritage, societal responsibilities, issues covering the gaps in the mainstream curriculum which can be effectively addressed. We look for an offbeat myth, trigger, the idea that may surface in someone's mind and the reasoning behind it. These topics are then shared on a common forum. After an extensive brainstorming session, we zero down to one theme, a theme that aligns with our vision to make a positive impact on society while educating our future leaders. To inculcate values of team building, we further conduct sessions at each grade level with the students, class teachers, and subject teachers. As our process begins before the academic year, not only do the students get time to research possibilities for the project, but also to deliberate with parents, which in turn builds parental interest and involvement, which can be witnessed throughout the year-long project. The aim of doing this is to develop ideas and design them for the activities, keeping in mind what the students wish to explore through the tenure of the project. Based on these topics of discussion, we create a mind map. We build from the ground up, covering different perspectives from different individuals to ideate an angle that is suitable for our educators and students. Once the blueprint of the theme is made, we create timelines based on all the selected activities, and all the necessary material required for these activities are acquired. Every individual is different, and to suit their needs based on age, we categorize activities that can be conducted at different grade levels. From kindergarten to grade 10, we conduct activities that are age appropriate and gender inclusive. Our little tiny tots in kindergarten strictly participate only in class discussions and classroom presentations, as we protect them by providing a non-competitive and secured environment. Once we've determined our path based on personal interests and skills, students have the choice to either participate in onstage or backstage activities. Lower grade students often require additional help, due to which students participating in backstage duties guide the younger students and also assist the teachers. Higher grade students explore all the available resources based on the theme via in-person interviews, the internet, books, and site visits to understand the roots of the selected theme. This helps them to make a structured and detailed documentary. They conduct thorough research based on the theme to suggest ideas for activities and performances at all grade levels. During the entire academic year, our senior students evaluate and compile data for each grade and their corresponding activities to attain a seamless product display at the end of the year. Throughout the journey, we make the process relatable and exciting by the approach of daily learning. The objective for doing this is that gradually the student absorbs these lessons to implement them. We integrate these life lessons through classes, circle time, assemblies, softballs, or thematic learnings. Frequent discussions and reviews at each grade level ensure that there is no gap between the teachers, students, and the vision for our purposeful learning. As we get a step closer to the end of the academic year, zero periods, that is free time, is allocated for practice, costume selection, music, editing, backdrop designing, prop designing, script writing, dance, plays, and dress rehearsals. With our final product, some activities culminate in classroom presentations and some as on-stage performances. During the two-day event, Day 1 focuses on classroom presentations at all grade levels, and Day 2 is celebrated with grandeur with on-stage presentations. All our efforts and lessons are displayed with a seamless culmination in one big celebration, the grand finale. " 2015 was the year we began this form of a parallel curriculum. Prakriti, a brief sojourn with nature, is what we called it, and it was anything but brief. We used different spots to detail the history of our planet. Every student, from our tiniest tot to our oldest teen, was a part of this enterprise. Along with traditional races, we spared no sport by entertaining our guests with calisthenics, yoga, marching, lejing, and even hula hoops. In 2016, we presented Landforms and Life, a global street. The project was celebrated as a Winterfest on open ground. The objective of this project was to move social studies from rote learning to experiential learning. With our presentations and performances, we metaphorically traveled around the world by bringing the geography of many places alive. We focused on understanding how our different geographies and cultures shape us as societies and individuals. In the year 2017, we decided to focus on the diversity that India has to offer with our project Smarnanjali. For a country with over 22 official languages, you will be sure to find something new in every corner of every state. We're a country known for our bountiful heritage, and for some reason, we have normalized highlighting foreign languages in our country. Well, not on our watch. We dedicated the entire year to Rabindranath Tagore, India's very own Shakespeare. The following year, in 2018, we presented our biggest project yet, Care for Kisan. With the growing wastage of food and the subsequent damage it causes not only to a stable food supply, but also the environment. Needless to mention, the millions of people who are starving across the globe. It was the need of the hour to make sure that we understand the amount of effort it requires to bring a morsel of food on our plates. We wanted to make an unshakable impact on our students to appreciate the farmers who provide the means to consume food. Our students brought tears to the eyes of the farmers they interacted with by giving them shoes that they designed and made with used tires. Our motive to build empathy in our students was filled beyond our expectations. With the ever-changing dynamic technology offers, reading books regularly seems almost a distant dream. We have traded this knowledge-building precious gift for a one-click solution, the internet. It was only obvious that we presented books, a gateway to wisdom, in the year 2019 to emphasize the importance of reading books. This fine year, we used our mythology and equated them to issues today. We questioned the very roots upon which India was built and sent more than one person home thinking after our debates and plays amongst many other performances. To further explain the process, here is a detailed video on our project Care for Kisan, which will give you a descriptive insight into our journey.
सूरज ना होता, चांद ना होता, तो यह धरती ना होती। सच है किसान, अगर तुम ना होते तो कसम से हम ना होते।
Running a farm has never been easy. It's more of a 24/7 lifestyle than it is a business that you can pay attention to when you want. The expense of farming means that it's a difficult industry to enter, as well as making it hard for existing farmers to survive. We must learn to respect farmers the same way we respect our parents and teachers. To instill this respect in India's tomorrow, the family. That is, KHS decided this year's theme to be Care for Kisan.
The reason for these increasing protests is none other than the ignorance of society. One of the many issues that farmers have always had to deal with is the fickleness of nature. If the climate is poor, the weather doesn't go the right way, or a natural disaster occurs, it could mean a bad season. And a poor year would mean a struggle to make a profit.
The sudden crash in prices of agricultural produce has left Indian farmers dismayed, who are already distressed following a severe drought. In Karnataka, the price of the produce has now crashed to below rupees 10. In other parts of the state, the farmers are forced to sell their produce at extremely low prices. In fact, in the past 3 years, the 4 major crop growing districts have accounted for a quarter of all farmers' suicides in the state.
गेले भजनाले आलेच नाही मग दुसऱ्या दिवशी सकाळी माहीत झालं मग फाशी घेतली म्हणून.
An equally pressing problem that rivals farmer suicides in India is food wastage. India wastes as much food as is consumed by the United Kingdom, which is about 21 million tons. Food wastage is increasing at an alarming rate in India. We don't seem to realize that while throwing away that small portion of food, we're throwing away someone's hard work, limited resources, and a healthy, nutritious future for our children as well. After going through the statistics, one thing is certain, that India produces enough food to feed everyone. However, we have got to realize that in order to feed more, we need to waste less. The President said that the farmers have been bold in embracing risk and converting risk into opportunity. Though we are aware of the fact that only the government can take major actions to prevent food wastage in India, we, on a personal level, can act more proactively to minimize it.
It is not fair of us to claim that the government is taking no action, although it may not be effective. They have launched a national agricultural market scheme known as ENAM, has integrated 585 markets across 16 states and 2 union territories. The government has launched many similar drives, yojanas and schemes to aid farmers like the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana and the Param Pragat Krishi Vikas Yojana.
In the past few years, numerous NGOs have come up to work with farmers. To name a few, Krishi Star is a farm-based NGO that is ending poverty among farmers in rural India by giving them jobs and selling products made from their farm produce. Digital Green is a global development organization that empowers smallholder farms to lift them out of poverty by harnessing the power of technology and grassroots level partnerships. And it's not like the farmers are sitting ducks either. They themselves are trying to find ways to overcome these problems. So, let's join hands with the Kisan to show him that we do care.
We started cleaning the field as a team and removed the unwanted garbage.
Farmers gave us very important information about the plantation of rice saplings. We came to know that the amount of hard work that is going into just preparing the rice saplings is tremendous.
Next, it was our turn to experience the plantation. After a lot of hard work, we successfully planted all the saplings. It was an amazing experience to live the life of a farmer for a day. I had always read about them, but now I actually experienced it and realized how underrated they are. The experience we had was certainly one of its kind. The amount of effort and expertise required for planting even one sapling really left all of us astounded.
This experience was a way to relax ourselves and come out of the daily routine of life. Overall, this was a very amazing experience and we enjoyed a lot.
First, we divided the bajra and jowar crops. Then we were taken to a trip around the farm and we saw many different crops. Then we went to a nearby hill where we harvested the groundnut crops by pulling the roots of the crops. After harvesting, we collected all the groundnuts from the plants and handed them over to the farmers. Finally, we had fun shopping and we bought many fresh vegetables and fruits. We got to know a lot about Mother Nature and that is why I love this field trip very much. I loved it because we got a chance to help the farmers and we realized the importance of food. I found it wonderful because we understood how the food comes to our houses. This was my first ever experience working at a farm. It was splendid and now I understand the hardships that the farmers have to face.
नवीन काही असं जॉब वगैरे करायला सांगा.
नाही आता माझा मुलगा ग्रॅज्युएट झालेला आहे तर मग मी सुद्धा ग्रॅज्युएट झालेली आहे तर मी शेती केलेली आहे तरी शेतीची परंपरा चालू राहावी म्हणून त्याला मी सर्व्हिसला वगैरे जॉबला पाठवत नाही त्याला सुद्धा घरी शेती करण्यासाठी मी प्रोत्साहन देतो.
आणि आमचे आणि फक्त तुमची मुलं नाही पण आमचे असे बाकीचे मुलांसाठी तुम्ही काय प्रोत्साहन करू शकता.
कसं आहे बाकीच्या मुलांनी सुद्धा शेतीकडे वळलं पाहिजे शेतीचं तंत्रज्ञान माहिती झालं पाहिजे त्यांना त्यांनी सुद्धा शेतीकडे वळलं ना तर म्हणजे आपल्याला पुढं शेती जर उत्पादन निघालं तर तुम्ही खाऊ शकाल ना. मी जॉबला आहे ते काय खाणार तुम्ही मग उत्पादन जर झालं तर इकडे दुर्लक्ष करून चालणार नाही उत्पादनाला. आता तो पुढं फायदा होतो किंवा तोटा होतो याचा विचार करून जमत नाही एवढं.
सरकाराकडनं जे तुम्हाला सवलती मिळतात त्याचा फायदा होतो की तोटा.
नाही सरकारकडून फायदा म्हणजे कसं आहे ते सवलती सर्वांना मिळू शकत नाही जे अल्पभूधारक येतं 3 एकराच्या आतमध्ये ज्यांना जमिनी येतं त्यांच्यासाठी तो फायदा असतो. जे आज मोठे शेतकरी आहे ना त्यांच्यासाठी सवलती गव्हर्नमेंट देऊ शकत नाही.
Now, something you might want to think about. Are we doing enough for the farmers? Are you guilty of wasting food?
Do you promise to care for farmers not just for the duration of this program but after it as well? It is a sheer joy to witness these year-long sessions transition to lifelong learnings. As educators, we feel a sense of accomplishment, even if these lessons make the smallest change in our students' lives, as we are certain that to achieve a better future, change begins from within. We know then that we've helped our future leaders build a future worth living and loving. Here's a look at one of our ex-students, Saloni Shete, speak about her journey after participating in Landforms and Lives, a global street, and the impact it had on her and her classmates' lives.
Good afternoon. My name is Saloni Shete, and I am a student of the 2017 batch of KHS Baner. I am currently pursuing a bachelor's degree in design at IIT Bombay. I was always passionate about art and design, especially building things with my hands. In school, I had ample opportunities to use my creativity and enhance my problem-solving skills through project-based learning. This helped us to excel in several fields beyond our school curriculum and in the years after school. In 2016, our principal, Mrs. Gandhi, brought an opportunity from the US Space and Rocket Center for students to attend the prestigious space camp at Huntsville, Alabama. Students, including myself, were selected through an extensive selection process designed by her. It included a robotics challenge and providing an innovative solution to a real-life problem, which was to save water and improve hygiene in the school washrooms. That summer, I was a part of a team of 5 students and 1 teacher from my school that went to the US to attend space camp for a week and experience astronaut training. Even the annual events at school included engaging activities that led to a deeper understanding of the theme. I recall a year-long project I worked on in the Winter Fete of 2016, themed Landforms and Lives, a Global Street. Each class was assigned a country of a particular landform. I had the opportunity to learn all about it through projects. I was personally involved in representing the country of France by designing a stall in the fete. Just a small project like building a model of a French castle taught me so much about French architecture. Project-based learning in school surely helped me choose the right career path. I discovered my inclination towards design in my school days, and this helped me qualify the entrance exam for the design course at IIT Bombay with an All India rank of 7. Thank you.
Karishma?
Now, if anybody has any questions or comments regarding both our projects, please feel free to ask them.
If I may just start by just saying I'm extremely impressed and inspired by the method, the involvement of the entire school in one project, and then having these multiple smaller projects, and the entire thing being curated by the children, spoken by the children, and having wonderful mentors. And it's really inspiring. And I think though it actually it's the outcome looks wonderful, but I think there's so much of work that is there. So I think what my desire would be, and of course being a part of Vidya Valley also believes in project-based learning, but all of us bring so many different aspects to it, and it'll be interesting if there can be some hand holding at a level where we would also like to take it forward. And I've spoken to Lakshmi ma'am already, and thank you very, very much, and congratulations. So that would be my desire, to have some amount of collaboration from these wonderful children to teach another set of children. So I think as a community to come together and, to mirror this in some way would be, in some ways to recognize your work. I think that's more important than just putting it in words, because eventually you want it for the community, you want it for India, you want it for children, and just saying that you did a wonderful job, I feel is not good enough. For us to emulate you, and to take this forward is gratitude in every way. So that is something that I would really look forward to. Thank you very much. I think it's just blew me away. Your presentation was so engaging. It was so real. It just never looked like, it just looked like you just did everything. I'm super impressed. Thank you so much
Thank you
for
for your
sharing.
kind words, Cheeta.
Thank you,
And
ma'am.
actually, it'll be a privilege to handhold any school which wants to take it forward and transform it into a different project altogether.
Into
For
a
a
movement.
better, yeah, it's a movement.
I think very nice. I'm very impressed.
Though it is 5 years, we are still evolving, and there is still the assessment which needs to go into place, where the different tools can measure the multiple skill sets of the children.
Right.
So there is a lot of work. Probably by collaborating with schools which are present here today, maybe we'll come up with a better model. And thank
Yes,
you
ma'am.
for those kind words. And it's entirely the teamwork.
Yes, very
And
nice.
it's not possible without the dream team that I have with me in my school. And
Really nice.
thank you.
Congratulations to everyone. Thank you so much.
If I may be permitted to say a few words as a very senior educator, I must congratulate this superb presentation today. What a wide spectrum of interest and project work these children have put into their work. First, it shows their care for the underprivileged people, say the elderly, this gadget that they evolved. It's something that is wonderful for the watchman who is on long duty.
I think we have lost her audio.
She must be having connectivity issue.
Yeah. I think we can get back to her. We can, whenever
I would like to speak a few words.
Yes, Jayaji.
So this was totally eye-opening. It was incredible. We have started with project-based learning from this year in a very sincere way. And as it is the beginning, I think it's very impressive to see how other schools are doing it. It shows us the path. We will definitely reach out to the schools to give us an idea how we can make our projects more meaningful and do it in a logical sense. I could see all the elements being followed to the T, whether it is the student's voice and choice and the actual product, how it is being brought to the audience, everything, the well-designed way the design thinking has been incorporated for each step. We definitely need the support and guidance. Hats off to the mentors, the teachers, the school, the students who have participated in this. I wanted to know if the product is available on Amazon, the StandX thing, and if we could go for buying it for our teachers, at least one for each classroom. We'll see how the budget allows, but this is something which I'm thinking about, how to approach for buying this product if it's available.
Okay. One of you students, you want to take that question?
I would like to. It's not yet available on Amazon or any other platform, but we will sure try to make it, and it would be we would be very thankful and very grateful if you would, try to buy this product and use it. So thank you.
Yes, I'm interested, but whom to approach, what to do? Write to your school?
Like we mentioned, we have a website, so you can get in contact with us through that.
Okay. And may I know the cost, if you don't mind?
So the current cost of the prototype went up to 4,500, but we plan to bring it down to 2,500.
Oh, that would be fantastic. So we are going for it. Thank you so much. God bless you all, children.
Yeah, they already have a prototype for StandX 2.0, but they haven't unveiled it.
Okay. My best wishes.
That'll be a better product, I suppose.
Lakshmi?
Thank you, Jayaji.
Lakshmi, can I come in?
Yes, Lakshmi.
So first of all, congratulations and really a heartfelt appreciation for the entire team for today's two magnificent presentation. I completely endorse what Ipsita and Jaya had mentioned, but I'm a bit intrigued about one of the mention of curriculum for exams and curriculum
Education.
education.
Yeah.
So can you throw some light on it? And it's so contemporary, and that we as schools can't ignore one over the other.
Yeah.
But if anyone can put some light on it, or yeah, I mean,
Student, may I answer this?
I'm very curious and I completely endorse that stand.
Somebody said, may I answer it?
As a student, may I answer this so that ma'am might understand?
Go ahead, Karishma, go ahead. Yes,
well,
want to answer it.
Wow, Karishma, that is really great.
Yeah.
Well, Lakshmi ma'am, honestly, obviously we cannot ignore the academic point of the entire year. It's very important. Our futures are based on that. So what our teachers, and from our physical education to our assemblies to our group discussions, each and every single part of this school year is steeped in the theme that we choose that year. So even though we have our academic portion that is for us, since we are a CBSE school, whatever we have been assigned, along with that, our teachers and ma'am and the kakas and the maushis and sir, they try their best to incorporate it with the theme that we have chosen that year. So for Care for Kisan, we were given we gave special attention to environmental sciences, and in geography how we could improve the health of the soil in the country, how we could, as everyday citizens, not even taking farming as a profession, but how as everyday citizens, without stepping out of our houses, how we could help the country's agricultural sector. So this way, we are given an academic point of view and we learn about what's actually happening. We are not sheltered in any way. We are told what is happening outside and it's the real world. So, and one of the best things about the whole Kaveri Institute is that after we pass out, I'm in 10th right now, and maybe I'll pass out in the next 1 month. They don't forget about us. They still want us to be a part of the school, and they still want us to learn. And that's how we know that it's one of the best experiences of our entire lives. And even while wanting to make sure we have fun, they don't compromise on our education.
Thank you, Karishma. I just love the intensity in your voice and in your body. Just beautiful, and it's absolute passion. Thank you.
Actually, it's the basic difference between the two that, as I noticed when we all started talking about it, is when you talk about the mainstream curriculum or the curriculum for examination, you already have the topics and you fit in the objectives as grade levels, progress, or which is age appropriate. Whereas when we are doing this curriculum for education, the objective is there and then the topic comes actually. So for example, how do we choose, what are the triggers for our theme for the year? So it is the observation that teachers make during the school year. And say, for example, during the lunch breaks, there are a lot of children who are wasting food. Or a teacher walks into a class and asks a child, a first grader or a second grader, where do you think your food comes from? They say either big basket or big bazaar. That is when we realize, I think it's necessary to tell the children that this is where the food comes from, and this is the hardship that goes into bringing that morsel of food to your plate, and all the hardships that farmers go through. And then senior classes, learn about all the policies that government make, which may not work most of the times. So they do learn about, they question. In fact, there were times where children questioned the certain mythological characters. and we presented them on stage for the parents to learn what goes on in the minds of the children. That is education curriculum for us.
Thanks, Lakshmi. Thanks.
Thank you. So asking those, crucial questions and pertinent questions regarding a particular thing that they're seeing around them. Those are certain things that children enjoy doing.
I also want to congratulate the children, making this whole videos. They have done it so beautifully and it looks so professional. It's sometimes I'm working with technology. It's such a difficult thing, and so, that's so impressive, so needed for today. So, I wanted to, highlight that aspect as well.
Thank you. Saili, can you mute? Bharti ma'am, can you mute yourself, please? Yeah. Any more questions? Yeah. Karishma, we can move on to the next part.
Thank you so much for your comments and those kind words. If you have any doubts, please feel free to contact us. We will be, we'll get back to you as soon as we can. If Neena ma'am would now introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Ninad Panse.
Sure, Karishma. Thank you so much. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Ninad Panse. Mr. Panse is the Chief Executive Officer of Design Derivatives, an institution established with the aim of inspiring learners to build creative confidence through design and design thinking. He established Design Derivatives based on his 30 years of industry experience in design and development. He has also led a premium design college which had a French collaboration and conducted courses in transportation design, product design, digital design, animation, and video gaming. Through his vast industry experience of working both in India and the USA with companies like General Electric Aircraft Engines, General Electric Healthcare, and Procter & Gamble, he realized that creativity and design thinking methodology is not only meant for designers, but for everyone who wishes to be successful in whichever field they choose. Be it engineers, be it doctors, scientists, architects, teachers, even IAS officers, and more. He nurtures a belief that creative confidence and design thinking approach can be sought at any age. To build a creative mindset, time, effort, and experience is required, and hence he introduced the International Design Olympiad and the virtual course on creative confidence for learners. He has successfully conducted Creative Journey for more than 1,000 students in the last 2 years. We welcome you, sir. Over to Mr. Ninad Panse now.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
At the outset, I must say thank you to Malti and Lakshmi for giving this opportunity. Before I start, I would also like to say the two presentations that were made were fantastic. I'm very happy that for one of them, I was a little part of it. So that also gives me insight in terms of what children are thinking, what students are thinking. Today, I'm actually going to talk about the work that we do and how it really associates with the subject of today, which is project-based learning. And I'll connect it in different ways. So, all schools, all, school leaders will be able to sort of identify and see where there could be a gap and how do we fill that gap together. As I think Mrs. Kesker was talking about, I have a lot of experience, and what is not said in that experience is that I have worked with young ones in so many different ways to realize that what is the impact that comes onto them when they are growing. So one is about what schools does, what happens at a home, what happens at a coaching class, what happens at sports, and things like that. And putting the perspective in place, let me start with a simple quote where, since I just saw the presentation and there was a picture of Rabindranath Tagore, so that sort of came to my mind, is that he said, education is not to get jobs, but to become good human beings. Now, when you look at this concept of good human beings, it is very difficult to establish as to who is a good human being. And this was at the age of, I think, I've seen students and, children at the age of about 12 and 13, when, a landline phone rings up and your child goes and picks the phone up, and someone at the other end says, can I talk to your dad? And dad is sitting right in front there and saying that, look, tell him I am not at home. And then this child is saying, dad is saying he's not at home today. So, what you really see, I mean, what really happens to this child is quite different than we think. He or she is scoring a lot of marks or is doing very well. But the impact that she carries or impact that he carries with that incident is long lasting. And that is where I think that consciousness of what we have to do should come out. So what Rabindranath Tagore said is very interesting. He said that, education is to become good human beings. And let us say that it is very difficult to identify what is the definition of good human being. So that answer was given by Gandhiji. Gandhiji said very interestingly, he said that, look, if you do not know what to do in your life, serve people. I think that sort of, puts the perspective in place in terms of what is it that we should be doing. Now, all that we saw in the last two presentations was, indicative of that fact, that how do you serve people? And that is where I think, the context of today's project-based education I'm going to talk about. If you look at a definition of a project, I mean, it is actually very limiting. A definition of a project clearly says that here is a starting point. You clearly know what needs to be done. And it also gives you a timeline. And it says that this is the place that it should end. And these are the outcomes that are expected. And, honestly, life is not like that. Life is not a project by saying, start here and end here, start here and end here. So there is always this, jumble of thoughts that happen in a child's mind, which does not come out too well. It does not get articulated too well. But at the same time, those thoughts are there in their mind in terms of what does this mean that I'm moving from 4th grade to 5th grade, I'm graduating. So what does that really mean? And what really happens in that context? Point number one, that, projects are very limited in it by definition, by the context of today's discussion, it means something else, and I will come to that. You see it from deliverables, you exactly know what the outcome is expected. Simple example is, let's say that I want to drive from, Pune to Mumbai, and what I can see from my, headlights of my car is just about 200 meters. Rest I cannot see. So the project, always gives you that visibility. There are certain elements of suspense in that, but by and large, you would see that, the visibility of the project is very small than, what the projects can do or the concepts can do. And I think one of the presentations about the Kisan one, I think I like that very well because it actually talks about the value proposition there. So let me sort of now put these thoughts in perspective with respect to what we think and what we believe is rightfully, looking at how schools should implement and what we do for schools in that context. One element of education is to get knowledge. Now, knowledge by itself, if it is in books, it is from the past. What that means is whatever is in the books is already been established. Then the next step that we have taken by and large in most of our education activity, I mean, some of the schools here would be exception to that, is that we do what is called as application of knowledge. Now, application of knowledge would typically mean projects like you would say, a science exhibition end of the year, or you would say cultural activities, which is also a project-based activity, or you give, assignments to students that go make an, map of India and put all the forests wherever they are in India and things like that. So these are also, essentially these are also projects. But, if you notice these kinds of projects, there is a precedence to that. You already know where the knowledge is. You know where to go for that knowledge. It is just a representation in a different format. Or it would also mean that whatever has been taught in the class, you sort of understand that in a different way. So what a project is doing in these cases is that you get knowledge and additionally, you also get some skills. So knowledge and skills actually become part of a project environment that we'll look at. Now, having said that, what is it that we want to do in the context of this? Essentially is that if the outcome, if you see from a project-based learning, you will see that there is some level of investigation that the students have to do. They sort of look at knowledge and there is some level of experience that they get. And there is this word called critical thinking. And I would like to sort of, talk about that for a bit and then, move on very specifically in areas which we believe are the right way or, good way of looking at how creativity would happen. Now, if you look at critical thinking, by and large, the top, and there are so many definitions of critical thinking, but for a school environment, we talk about research, we talk about analysis, we talk about synthesizing, and we talk about applying. What that means is that critical, thinking, by and large, takes you to an environment of making a judgment, in a way, critique, in a way, taking an option. And what we want to look at is that there is a classical difference between what is meant by critical thinking and what is meant by creative thinking. And, I just want to, bring this element of, the projects that we just spoke about, is that, in most of these projects, there was understanding that was available. So what happens in our, project-based, learning is that, you can go to a library, you can read a lot of books. So what happens in that context is that it becomes knowledge-centered approach for problem solving. So which sort of is concentrated to how much I know or how much is there in books. And in today's world, when I say books, we also mean Google. We also mean all the search engines which are available. So you just type a question and something or the other, you start relating things. And things start, coming out of that, that concept. Now let me sort of, spend some time on, a classical approach of what is meant by critical thinking as against what is meant by creative thinking. Now, when we talk about creative thinking, we are talking about largely the process of what is meant by divergent thinking. Now, all of us, typically, the simplest definition of divergent thinking is that if you are able to identify multiple solutions to a problem, you are a divergent thinker. By and large, you will see when you're thinking about, if you're in the process of critical thinking or, rational thinking in the concept, you would notice that you will want to arrive at one solution or you want to arrive at one clear objective to a problem given to you or a question given to you. Now, divergent thinking is a very interesting concept because divergent thinking actually talks about when you given, mental stimuli to a child or mental, right now, since we are talking to, education and we are talking about the school system, I'm referring to children and that is exactly what we do. So right now I'm going to talk about the work that we do in, project-based environment is this, that, divergent thinking can be seen in different elements of child's, mental capacity, if you will. So let us say I give a child a mental stimuli of saying a ball. Okay. So then he starts writing, okay, football, basketball, cricket ball, golf ball, table tennis ball, dodge ball. And the list goes on. And then slowly you also say that, look, keep going, don't stop. Then what is the child going to do? He's going to say a clock, or he's going to say moon, he's going to say sun. Now he's slowly diverging from that fact of what was a mental stimuli to where he is going now. So we sort of track this and see how the child is really thinking. So we track a child's thinking process in about 7 elements. So we talk about fluency of thought, flexibility of thought, originality of thought, elaboration of thought, emotional component in that thought, artistic nature of that thought, and above all, usefulness of that thought. Now, when we look at a child, we possibly look at various ways that he writes an answer. So, like for example, some of your schools have been participating in what we have been conducting for years now, International Design Olympiad. We have asked very simple questions to identify that in today's world, in the last year's one, we spoke about, how Rakhi should be celebrated just in case, you are still in a pandemic situation. Or what happens, how can we, celebrate Holi in a different way now? The kind of way that the student looks at this process, so you can really clearly identify how the child is looking at the concept of Holi. So he derives that value. And our view about this is that, in this entire process, one good thing that we do is that confluence of knowledge, experience, and imagination comes to child at that instance in time when he's asked to give, that answer. So he actually believes that, what he saw in that movie, what he read in that, book, and what happened when he was in Mumbai, or what happened when he was in his village, then he puts his imagination in place in terms of, this can hurt me, that can hurt me, this should not happen. And the answers that they write are beautiful because, then you can see how the child is actually elaborating, a thought or a mental stimuli given to them. With that effect, we also use, how these projects have to evolve through what we call as an empathy phase, if you will. Within the empathy phase, we are looking at very specifically moving from a knowledge-centered approach of problem solving to a human-centered approach for problem solving. And I think in the project that students had taken, the first project for Dissolve software, I think that element is absolutely there for some of you who appreciated the project. I think that element of empathy was very important. So what is empathy? In our view is that if you are able to practice empathy, it is in our culture, it is in our tradition. We know that it happens. It really is seen in a family, in a close-knit environment. But as soon as we leave our home, something really happens to us, and not many of us are able to do that part. But what is empathy? And this element of empathy in creativity, design, and design thinking, we sort of bring to fore for children. So the simplest way, humility. That humility as an element and part of empathy is so simple and in a way very creative, if you will, is to sort of give power to others. Make them bigger than you, make them have more knowledge than you, or whatever. Whatever the reason that you are meeting them. This ego, at every level in human life, we have this element of ego. And what is that ego? If you set children now at this age, from age of 10 to age of 18, I guess at what instance in time you should remove your assertion and let other person take over, possibly gives you a lot more advantage. And I think in that project of Kisan, I saw that a lot of elements of empathy were there, which were there. A good listener. It's not an independent activity. Good listener is part of what you really want to do and how you want to express yourself. So we believe that also, sort of becomes part of an empathy process when you're trying to understand someone else's problem, or you're trying to design for someone else, or you want to be, and in our definition of creativity, we have said is that, look, if you have a unique and a useful thought for a relevant population, you become creative. Unique and useful thought for a relevant population, then you become creative. Now, this definition we have taken to, the education system in our K-12 area very specifically, and we work from, some of our courses, we work from 8th grade to 12th grade. But by and large, for the International Design Olympiad, we work from 5th grade to 12th grade. The point I'm actually driving is that what do you mean by value from education? Now, we sort of understood what we spoke about knowledge. And then we also said, application of knowledge. And now we are actually saying value from knowledge. And I think the context that I want to bring to all you school leaders here is that, value from knowledge is the way that I have understood what has been taught to me, the way I have experienced things around me, and the way that I imagine things that they should be there. If you give me that freedom of my thought, my imagination matters. I think as educators and as practitioners of creativity as we are, our job is practically done. And if a child is able to bring at any instance, at most instance in time, in a purposeful way, knowledge, experience, and imagination, be it an intellectual confluence, whatever you want to call it, if that happens, I think we are in a good shape. Now, value creation as an element for us and the way that we think everyone should follow that in context of education is that you should be able to help someone else. So, for example, there's grandmother at home. There is, lockdown these days, or we have, limited electronic, devices at home. There is limit to which what would happen, and how do you use this? What do you do about this? That creative element or that creates value. So like, for example, one of the child I was working with 7th grade, and he said that, look, my grandmother has to go to bathroom every day night at around 2:30. She goes multiple times, and every time she hits a chair, or every time she does not know where the knob is, or every time she's spending 5 minutes to find where the switch is. What he did was a very simple logical step that as soon as his grandma was about to take the walking stick, he put in simple weight sensitivity, and just by cellotape he had put an LED there. So as soon as she takes that stick, which is just besides her pillow, it automatically lights up and she can see where she has to go and how she goes to the bathroom. Simple, logical. That actually creates value. So when you study light, or when you study a concept in a class, how do you apply it? And that level and that application, according when we say value, it is something that a relevant population can use in a unique and a useful way. What that also means is that it gives a child a confidence that what I made is useful in the real world. And when we talk about real world problems, and we certainly, not that it is not important, but we try and do everything around everyday creativity. We are saying that, look, you can solve plastic, pollution, and population issues over a period of time. There are baby steps. There is a staircase. Don't jump, the stairs. Go one by one, and then you will be able to identify, how you have to. In this process, what we do is that the child also identifies a lot about himself or herself, and that is where we call this concept of ours, which is, Christine, if you will, as creative confidence. So we actually work in inspiring students to build creative confidence through design and design thinking. I'll just talk about a few, takeaways, and I think I will sort of end there because, I can otherwise keep going on and on around what we do, how we do, and how these elements are done. So, what we have done in our entire, course structure and our, International Design Olympiad as well, apart from this virtual course on creative confidence, is that we have sort of brought in a couple of elements in that. So one is about knowledge, experience, and imagination. How do you build optimism? How do you build that concept of exploration? And how do you have that courage to express yourself? So these are some of the things which are integral part of that confidence building process, which is around optimism, exploration, and courage. Then we sort of made sure that in design thinking also, because it's it's a very nice word to have. It sort of sounds very esoteric, and we are doing something different. Some time ago we were talking about like just in time, or we would talk about Six Sigma. And in that parlance, I'm saying that design thinking, if we have to understand design thinking and bring it to how the schools and how children have to build that as a mindset. And that is why we are actually at a school level to that to build that mindset, it takes time. And my definition of habit is have a bit, it becomes your habit. So if you are able to do it again and again in school system, you can actually apply that in your college studies, and you are ready to face the world, be it as an entrepreneur or as a businessman or whatever. If you want to take a job, and do it that way. So we defined design thinking in 3 simple words, and that was like it is about empathy, it is about visual thinking, and it is all about divergent thinking. Very briefly, I have spoken about empathy and divergent thinking. I just want to talk about visual thinking, and I think one of the teachers, I don't recall the name, but from Vidya Valley, she said that the videos were wonderful. The way that the entire expression of thought of children came out really well. The videos were done so well that it's sort of sort of giving you that idea as to what the students are expressing. So that is meant by visual. Visual thinking does not mean MF Hussain or Picasso. I mean, it is not that how great drawing master you are or a sketcher you are, if you will. I mean, my view about visual thinking is as simple as that most organizations which became big, they said, I was sitting with my friend at a restaurant and I just took a paper napkin, I took a paper and I drew something, and here is, voila, we have $1 billion organization. That is what we mean by visual thinking. You should be able to express in a non-verbal way. If you are able to do that, that component is very important in visual thinking, and this is required practically everywhere in whatever work or whatever careers that students will choose. Then we further went on and sort of defined what is meant by design. Well, everyone seems to be saying, well, Apple is a good design. So why is Micromax not a good design? It's still a design, right? So, we defined what is meant by, that element of design. And like, for example, the product that saw the first product that the students made, which is for, let's say, security guard, or someone, mentioned the teachers are standing in a class for such a long period of time. There are 3 elements to that particular function of that design. One is form, one is benefit, and one is a feeling. So 3 words: form, function, and feeling. And look around, whatever that you have in front of you, you will see that these 3 things exist in that. A form, which is a physical entity that it is. And in today's world, we are talking about also apps on our phones and so on. That is also part of that form. Feeling can also mean, function also could mean benefit. So what benefit does it bring to us? And on top of that, feeling, which is part of that empathy process at the same time, how you feel around using this product. So we sort of brought it down to a level that children will understand very clearly. So we said creativity is being unique and useful to a relevant population. We defined confidence by saying that, look, it is optimism about your own ideas, exploration, and courage that is required for the creative confidence. Design is form, function, and feeling, and design thinking is all about empathy, visual thinking, and divergent thinking. Now, just a takeaway in terms of what we think has happened over the last so many years that we have been working with school students, very specifically with schools, and most of our focus is around the school system, is that with what we do, in the way that we do it, that there's an articulation of thought that they are able to do. So they are able to articulate how their thoughts are growing, because they can go in different dimensions. One of the observations that I think Karishma made was that, look, I mean, a lot of things are happening in the agriculture field. We are here and we are able to see what is happening. But possibly, like when students went for that field trip and saw what was happening and spoke to the farmer there and his inputs there, I think that actually builds that connect. And then if you come back and articulate your thoughts, they would be quite different from the thoughts that you would articulate doing research papers or seeing things from that perspective. Non-verbal communication is very important, according to me. That happens required everywhere. An ability to connect apparently distinct thoughts, things, and people. I mean, this is something that they are able to do. So, like for example, a simple example that we always give is that if you are given a rock, a 1 matchstick, and a 10-rupee note, how would you spend your night in jungle? So a simple, activity like this, all kinds of things a child is going to, the knowledge, experience, and imagination is going to put around it to look at this, problem. Typical, rational, critical thinking guy will do that. Okay, so I know what this guy is saying. I'm going to use this matchstick, put it onto the rock, light the matchstick, burn the 10-rupee note, and then light the wood in the forest. 99% of people have given those kinds of answer. But what that 1% really does is saying that, forest has enough resources. I don't need these three things. And that is where it all starts. And similarly, how this process or how this thought process is to be built to find multiple solutions is what we do. What we also do in this process is to lead students to humanize a solution. Just not coming with a solution. You humanize the solution to say who is going to use it, how is he going to use it, why is he going to use it, how long is he going to use it. And in that context, we also do what we call as always think of end of life. We all talk about, eco-friendly, this, that, and the other, but, we don't think of that when we are trying to make something. It is an afterthought. It comes fairly late in, doing some project by saying, okay, I don't know what will happen. How a healthier environment has to be kept around you is something that we talk through this process of what we do. We also believe, very strongly believe, that, students have to use their hands. I mean, they really have to, understand 3D. And I want to give a very quick example, and with that I will end, is that, many years ago, in our animation school, a child came to me in third year. We had a 5-year program. She came to me in third year and he said, sir, I'm done. I want to leave the college. So I said, what happened? And she was a very bright student. She was always there. She had participated in a lot of competitions. She used to win a lot of competitions. And third year, so I realized, she said a very simple thing to me. And that, got me thinking that, look, I mean, we really have to do something different. She said, sir, I cannot think in 3D. Because, if you look at, movies like Incredibles, The Car, and, all kinds of movies that we see now, the point is that she said, look, I'm an illustrator. I can draw, I can do it in 2D. But I don't know. But our world, if you look at our world around, everything is in 3D. But the child is unable to think in 2D because all the time it is paper and pencil by and large. So we said that everything, I mean, whatever that they do, the concepts of prototype, how should they build, is something that we have started working on. So in effect, what I'm saying is that, look, we have come up with a model which we call as a 3x9 matrix for creative evolution, which has creativity as a fundamental, backbone to that. And we believe that, creativity is here. So creative mindset is important to apply that design thinking approach. And design is an outcome of that. So, creative thinking happens here, and, innovation is a manifestation of that in real world. With that, I guess I'll rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now the session is open for question and answers.
On behalf of KHS Baner, I would like to propose.
Karishma, wait.
Karishma, question and answers are going on.
Lakshmi, can I come in?
Yes, Lakshmi.
Yeah, I don't have questions. I think I just love that, the habit definition. I think it's quite perfect and quite easy, that you got to do it, have to do it a bit.
Yes.
Keep doing that bit to become a habit. Yeah, completely resonate with your idea of empathy and design. And I think and I can relate to what you said. And again, my earlier question to Lakshmi of education for exams and education for life.
Yes.
I think the second element beautifully connects to problem solving for real life and with empathy. Thank you.
I think, well said. I think, the creative problem solving is one, field or, one, arsenal in students. And I think, just, off the hat, I'm saying this is that if you look at where, automation and artificial intelligence is going today, and, whether it is medical science, whether it is healthcare, whether it is automobiles, whether it is manufacturing, whether it is education, whether it is scientific research, unless we have the creative mindset a lot of it, a lot of what we learn today may not be useful then. So that itself can be, very daunting. So what will be useful will be that creative mindset. So knowledge may, become a little dated, if you will, but creativity is not dated. It will always sort of, build onto you, go on to you, come on to you.
Said when you asked a question that, let's say in the pandemic time, how will we celebrate Holi? Or in the pandemic time, of course, the schools are about how do you run a school. But I'm just thinking 100 questions, such an open-ended question. And we probably will have more diverse ideas of how to celebrate or how to do it. Uh, and, which is more, open-ended and more
Yeah.
opportunity for students. And I wonder why, I mean, of course, we ask this what you call the hot questions. And we probably have to look at here and now the problem that we are facing and how are we engaging our students in, seeking solutions for current situation. And I wonder why we haven't really so actively had a paper full of such questions rather than, the traditional exam or education for scores. Yeah, but thank you for giving that trigger to us.
Absolutely. Just to answer that in a very different way, when we were also running, video games seems to be right there everywhere. And I'm also a fan of video games. I mean, most often than not, parents would say, why are you wasting time? Do something constructive. My belief when, I have two sons and, we have all kinds of devices at home. My wife is all the time screaming, look, milk is on the table, dinner is served, and they are not listening to anything. I believe that if used in the right way, it is certainly a beautiful meditative state, right? I mean, all your senses are closed. I mean, that is what we do in meditation. That has been told to us so many years ago. I mean, centuries ago that, this is how we really have to do it. I mean, you close yourself and do one thing at a time, do it well. And, it's just a matter of how do you take it in 21st century and what do you do about it? I don't want to get into that, question of what we should do in school. It's very debatable at this instance in time. But let me also give you one example. Most video game players, if you ask a simple question, how would you improve this game? 99% of them will not know what is that question or what is it that I can do. And that is where I'm saying that it needs to be built. I mean, it is something that, that curiosity, that questioning skill, that sense of wonder, that sense of, I mean, it's also said that, the creative person is a guy in which a child has not grown. He becomes creative only when that all those childlike capabilities are, remaining in them. And I think with what we are doing, we are trying to build that, they remain with the child till the age of 18 so that you can take it to the next level.
But I think, Ninad, it's also the fear of the unknown. I mean, let's say this whole the video gaming. How many of us really as educators actually sit down and play video games? We have already decided, our unconscious biases towards that, and it is, it's a waste of time to it's, we have varied explanations of how it can affect your health. And hence we don't even get into the realm of those experiences. So, and a lot of that is how we deprive ourselves of those experiences, I guess. Thank you. Thank you.
True. That's so true. I was just thinking, since we have some students here, that question you asked, Ninad, about how do we play Holi in the present scenario. I was just thinking if any of the students want to come up with something of, absolutely on the go with whatever they're thinking about.
Sure.
Students? Are you there, students?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we are.
So you heard the question, right?
Yes.
So what could be so there could be multiple answers, right? So what are you thinking right now? How would you play Holi?
Can I answer?
Yes, Adriya.
So actually, when I heard this question, I was already thinking on the lines of virtual reality, where we can actually, everyone will wear headsets and everyone will play a game which will look realistic and will give the feel of playing Holi actually.
Okay, that's very interesting. Any of the others? Arohi? Okay, you can write it down and send it to Nath sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Karishma, I think over to you.
On behalf of KHS Banes, I would like to propose the vote of thanks to each and everyone who has contributed to this wonderful program today. We extend our heartfelt appreciation to our guest speaker, Mr. Ninat Panse, for gracing the occasion. We are sincerely thankful to Tuesdays for Tomorrow and its core members, Mrs. Vijayam Karta, Mrs. Malti Kalmadi, and Mrs. Jyoti Kumta for bringing us this beautiful concept. Our heartfelt thanks to the teachers and leaders of schools for their irreplaceable presence. We are eternally grateful to the people who attended this session for their questions and invaluable attention. Now, if you would all join us for a Shanti mantra to wish peace upon our planet.
सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै
Sadly, as all good things must draw to a close, so does this evening. We sincerely hope you enjoyed our show. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you all so much for your patient hearing and the time that you have given us. Thank you.
Thank you for a wonderful 2 hours, having realized